Hey, good morning everyone. I'm Kaye here on my homestead in Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, and I'm grateful I'm not in East Tennessee. Are you finding it hard to sleep? I am. Grab a cup and let's wake up. Oh, that's corny. I've got 3 different crews of workers descending on my place in a half an hour, starting in a half an hour. And I'm sure they're going to be here for a while. You know, the tragedy in East Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, aside for the moment, Ohio, I mean, major storm. Setting that aside for the moment, I'm noticing from my analytics that the videos that people are watching aren't my new videos about wonderful plants and harvests and medicinal plants. They're looking at preparedness videos, which include food preservation. Now, these 2 groups of people are not necessarily completely the same. They overlap, because not everybody who's got a big garden, who's looking for ways to preserve food or learning how to do it because it's somehow gotten to them that they need to prepare for these times. But the preparedness videos, the preparedness people are definitely preserving their food and stocking up and figuring out better ways to do things. And those are the kinds of videos, even though I did them 2 years ago, those are what people are watching. In particular, my tips on long-term water storage. I don't remember the title exactly, but that's what it's about. And I was learning when I made that video, so I was sharing what I was learning. In fact, that's everything I've done since I've been here, because I had a micro garden in California. I did do rain capture because it never rained. The entire summer season, it would never rain. For 7 years, it didn't rain in July. Can you imagine? So, or August, or June. But once it did, and it was, it had been 18 years, I don't know, it had been 30, 50, I don't know, it had been a long time since it had rained in July. Now, what I just did you see what I just did? My eye was itching and I touched it. And I cut up peppers last night. Now, I don't go near ghost peppers or anything like that, but, you know, they're hot enough to burn your eye, and my eye's burning, even though I've washed my hands many times. I need to get those gloves. I made my Walmart haul. That's another video you might want to watch, my Walmart haul. I used to be adamantly opposed to that company. But when you move to an area and it's where, you know, it's the only place to get stuff, you know, you wind up having to rely on it. Speaking of Walmart, I saw a video last night. I couldn't sleep again. So I got up and I was looking at more of the videos from North Carolina or East Tennessee. They're all, you know, being posted together, but Asheville was trending on X, which formerly Twitter, and the Walmart, I don't know why, but there wasn't a single thing in the entire store. They went down aisle after aisle, case after case. It was completely empty. I don't really understand that video, but because if it had been hit by the flood, it would, you know, they'd still be doing cleanup, and it was just all spotless. So I don't know. I really doubt if every single item could have been sold out. So I didn't notice when I went to Walmart day before yesterday, I didn't notice big empty shelves. But I'm understanding that, you have to drive a ways out of this flood zone, the destroyed areas, to find something. And especially there's long lines for gas because people have been running generators now for days. Okay, an update on my son's generator. So the one I gave him, which had only been used one other time for like 8 hours last year, crapped out after about a day and a half. I didn't know that because I didn't get a chance to talk to him till last night. And this is his first experience having a generator, because we grew up in SoCal, and if the power goes out, you're not going to freeze. Well, in some areas maybe, but not where we were. And so you just wait it out. We never had a generator. So he didn't grow up with that. He wasn't taught about how to work on them or anything, and it stopped working. They couldn't make it get going. And so a neighbor had one and loaned it to him. He is able to drive down Hendersonville, which is that main road, a certain ways anyway. But they have very limited access to the internet because they don't have any cell service and all that. So and their water is dirty, and they're boiling it and taking quick showers, and they're not even what you would call roughing it compared to all of these other people who've lost everything. And I find that it's difficult to sleep. I remember during Katrina, it was just like I was just wrapped up in that news, Couldn't believe the destruction of Katrina. Anyway, I got to pull it together here. I've got all these men coming because I learned that in this room, they'll be in this room. This is the bonus room of upstairs of where I live. I didn't want a 2-story house, but that's what sat on this property, and the property is what convinced me to move here, to buy this house. This is a bonus room, and the heater is right up there. And they came for heater service on Tuesday, and I don't know why this wasn't reported to me, because I have the same company, and I do the membership, so they're here twice a year, and they look at the machine, whether it's air conditioning or heating. I mean, there's a different side, but still, you would know this. Anyway, they found all of this mold in this unit up here. And as he was showing me these pictures and they were telling me about it, there's no way to get it out. It's an old unit, and I was just thinking, I can get another year out of that because nobody's evidently coming to live here. And so I keep it very, the temperature very low, 64 or something up here in the winter, and in the summer it's like 75, 6, 7, whatever. And so I don't, use it a lot. So anyway, it's covered in mold, and you can't clean it out. You can only, the UV light, which is $800 to $900. I was ready to get that, but he said, you can't clean it out from behind, and also, and it's an 11-year split system. So I'm thinking very quickly that I'm just going to get a new one now. I wasn't planning to. So that's a big expense that I wasn't planning on, but I'm just very grateful that I'm able to do that. And In addition, I have wanted, you've heard me complain about this so many times, I have wanted a whole house water filtration system. And I thought, I know this guy, the project manager, because I have used the same company for almost everything I've done here. Starting, like the very first month I was here, I got a new HVAC for the first floor. And yeah, that was a more substantial unit than I need for this. But this project manager is a good man and honest, and he treats me like his sister, like he would treat his sister. He's told me that many times. I'm going to treat you like I would treat my sister. I'm going to tell you what I would tell my sister, what I recommend. And so these recommendations were made, and I thought, well, while I'm getting that, I'm going to get that whole house water filtration system, because I knew he would be eager to do that, and he would make me a good deal. And he did. And I said, listen, I spent $1,100 on this old machine last year to try to get a couple more years out of it. And he said, I'll take that off the top. Done. So they're coming, and also it's the same day that the Generac service is happening. I wanted to get everything done. Okay, so this was what was on my list. And maybe this can help you think about, run through your checklist. Things, you just put these things off until something bad happens. And look what has just happened in East Tennessee and North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, and maybe some areas in Ohio. People are without power for a complete week, and so are their neighbors. I mean, a lot of people just left. They left their houses, they went to hotels. I am in admiration of all of the people that have gone over there to help. Let me get back to my train of thought, which was this week, before all this happened, before the flood, I thought, okay, this is the week that I get all of the tune-ups. So I'm getting an oil change, tires rotated on my truck on Saturday. Today it's the Generac service and this, which I didn't expect. I just expected the service on Tuesday and then the Generac service. But no, all this is happening. And there are 3 different crews here, so I've got to go get my truck back in the shop and give them some space to park out there. But last night I was just, tell me how you feel about all this, but I'm not going to go into what some of the people are saying, but if you're looking into it and you're watching online, people are saying things about the storm. If true, would just be absolutely the most criminal thing you can imagine being done to a people. Well, maybe not the most. The Bolshevik Revolution comes to mind. They call it the Bolshevik Revolution, but 20 million people died. Yeah. When you start peeling, I've said this before in other videos, when you start peeling back the layers, it's quite something. And remember the movie A Few Good Men? Back when I went to movies. I've only seen one movie since I moved here in 4.5 years. One movie. I went to the theater one time. And this is an actor, I was absolutely committed to my acting career. In fact, I was just sent a box. I won't say from whom. But I was just sent a box of some of my old things, from when I first started modeling. And I was just like, oh my God, there's a modeling book in there. I'm like looking, I haven't seen these pictures in 30 years, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember doing that. Yeah, I remember doing that. Anyway, last night I'm up and I'm seeing this helicopter driver, pilot, who has credentials, but he's in the flood zone area on his own to help. He doesn't have his own helicopter, I think. Anyway, he was saying there were only 2 Black Hawk, military or National Guard helicopters in the air and 40 private. And that's the only way some of these people are now stranded. And it's hard to sleep when you know that somebody is on top of a mountain hill, surrounded by washed out roads and running out of water and food, especially with children. It's very hard to sleep. Anyway, he was saying that the only way, he said, we have people here, volunteers, so many people are volunteering, but we have to have helicopters to get to these people. Meanwhile, they sent, this was in the news, it was in the news, as part of this whole thing being revealed, that 700, and I don't know, I have no idea how many National Guard Tennessee has, but 700 of them were shipped off to Texas on Saturday for training, additional training, and they're going to be deployed to the Middle East for a year. So nobody can understand I'm not there, so I don't know. I'm just repeating what I've seen. I've seen copious reports that the federal response is weak, to say the least. And yesterday it was announced that all of the flood victims will get $750. Isn't that interesting? The exact same number that they gave the residents to Maui, to Lahaina, which was destroyed. But the government gave another, how many billion to foreign war? So these things keep you up at night, and we're maybe not our best if we're up at night. But anyway, what else did I do? I got my chimney swept yesterday. And because he's real laid back and he's a wonderful guy, and he's very reasonable and personable and been doing it his whole career. He's an older guy. I hope he keeps healthy, and he's just nice as he can be. Anyway, BJ went in his truck. He left the truck thing open, and she went in his truck to take a look around. And fortunately, it was all laid back, and he saw her, and he loves cats. And so it's fine. But with all these trucks and all these people here today, I'm thinking, I have to keep the cats inside. I can't be worrying about, is BJ going to jump in some truck, and then tonight at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock when it's time to come in, she won't come in. That's happened before. So just share with me what's going on with you. What are you thinking about all this? And you have to be reserved in your comments, because I think my channel is already, being shadow banned or whatever it's called, because it's hard to get any views on what I consider to be good videos, and my loyal hardcore audience goes to my channel to find out what's going on with me, and thank God for you. But all the other people, they just think, well, she hasn't posted, my videos aren't being recommended, they're not coming up in their feed, and so they don't know, people are busy. But right now, there's so much focus on the disaster, the election coming up, the foreign wars, that it's tough. So as far as my mother, she had a little dinner last night. She was very quiet, and I can get over there tomorrow, and so I'm hoping to be able to do that. And have nothing booked for tomorrow. After today, everything will be done except my truck service, everything I can think of. Well, except for the cistern, that's still a big question mark. See, if I had my cistern up and running, I wouldn't have to worry about water at all. Although I would need a hand pump. You see, that's another thing I haven't gotten. And I guess I haven't been pressed to do it because it leaks, and I haven't solved that problem. I am going to try to seal it one more time. There's another product that might work. My neighbor told me about it. And so Corey was here clearing off some of the hurricane damage from earlier in the year. He had a burn pile going for an entire day, and it was hot. And I felt like we were pushing it, but with the the wind would pick up a little, and I literally sat by the burn pile the whole time. And he had the tractor, and he was just rounding all these trees down and bringing it over, and he burned for an entire day. There's a lot more, but we got the worst of it, and he did a lot of trimming. So when he was here, we were talking about he's going to try it one more time. He's going to try to seal it, and with this other product. And if that doesn't work, then the only solution is a pool liner. But you can't find anybody to do that. Nobody wants to go down in that little hole, and so wells are not an option here. A lot of people say drill a well. They're not an option here because there's a zinc mine locally, and it contaminates the water. And so the people that do have wells, like the woman across the street, was one of the first people out here. And she's, gosh, she could be getting close to 90 by now. But anyway, she lives alone up there, but her sons live in town. And she used to go to town to do her laundry, even though they had a well. It was so. Anyway, I just sharing some thoughts today. This is catching up with Kaye a little bit. And if you're going to be in Flemingsburg, you'll know what's going on in Flemingsburg in October, because you'll be a member of Bard's Nation, and I am definitely a member of Bard's Nation. And so there's a revival in October that I went to it last year. It was in September. This year it's in October. But of course this was all before the flood and all of that. So we'll see if all that. Meanwhile, Lyndon is just really gone downhill, and I'm not sure how I'm going to get her taken care of when I go. But I really want to go, because being around like-minded people is just, it's the best. That's what revivals were always for, It's like, okay, every year we have a revival and all the people come, and but this is not like a church revival. This is a group of people that are all like-minded, and so I'm really looking forward to it, even though some of the people I met last year are not able to go this year, unfortunately. So anyway, that's what's going on, a little catch up. I've talked way too long, and I appreciate you being here. And I hope this has given you some things to think about. I have a playlist, Time to Wake Up, if you're ready for that. Oh, I brought up A Few Good Men. The scene that you'll remember, if you did see it, is Jack Nicholson is on, and he's a higher rank, obviously, than Tom Cruise, who is questioning him on the stand. And Tom Cruise's character says, "I want the truth." And Jack Nicholson's character says, "You can't handle the truth." Well, that's a very, very, very bad, a very bad interpretation of his performance, which was stellar. Anyway, some people don't want to know, and I understand, because knowing is hard. But we have to shine the light, and we have to open people's eyes and say, okay, how do we go from here? We have to take care of ourselves. We have to look out for each other. And the community spirit is being widely displayed on the internet, of all the things that are happening over there. And I wish I was closer. If I packed up my little pickup truck and drove, it would be 4.5 hours, and then maybe I could just drop it off and turn around and come back. If I was younger, that's what I'd be doing, because you can get things here that you probably can't get over there. But hopefully the power will be restored soon, but the lives lost and the houses lost, I mean, it just can't be, it can't be fixed. Someone was saying, and of course I'm not there, I don't know, but one rescue person pulled 1,200 bodies out of the what was left after the riverbed, the riverbed, and put them in body bags. And can you imagine? I don't know that that's true, but that was reported by several people, so I don't know. But it's so tragic. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. I've got to get going. God bless you. Thank you for being with me. I've got a wonderful video about the 2 absolutely wonderful wild plants that you need to be growing for fall, because there's just no fall. There are no flowers blooming in October and November. The hairy aster, hairy aster has just started blooming. That's a weed, and so that's something. But the other 2, I got a great video. I haven't finished editing it, but I'm thinking, people are watching what's going on, and I understand why. I want to know what's going on too. Anyway, have a great day. God bless you. Leave me a comment below, and I'll see you next time.